Hey there, it's Emily, and welcome back to English in Ease, the space where learning English feels calm, natural, and something you look forward to. I'm really glad you're here with me today, especially because we're about to explore something a little unusual, but deeply fascinating. Have you ever wondered if it's possible to learn English while you sleep? Yes, I know. It sounds like one of those magical ideas, right? Imagine going to bed, closing your eyes, and waking up a little more fluent in English every morning. No textbooks, no grammar drills, just sleep. It almost sounds too good to be true. But here's the interesting part. Science says, in some ways, it might actually work. So in today's episode, we're going to gently walk through this whole idea, step by step. I'll share with you how your brain works while you're sleeping, what kinds of English learning actually can happen during sleep, and most importantly, how you can try it for yourself. I'll keep things soft, simple, and clear, so whether you're wide awake or already lying in bed, this will feel like a natural part of your day or night. All right, let's start by talking about what's happening in your brain when you sleep. Because the truth is, your brain doesn't just shut off when you close your eyes. In fact, it stays incredibly busy. It's doing things like cleaning out waste, repairing cells, organizing everything you experience that day. And one of the most fascinating things? It's moving new information into your long-term memory. Think of it like your brain is sorting files on your computer. Everything you've taken in, new words, phrases, sounds, it all gets filed and organized while you sleep, especially during something called deep sleep. That's the stage when your body is resting deeply, and your brain is doing its nighttime housekeeping, deciding what to keep and what to forget. Then there's light sleep. And here's where it gets interesting for English learners like us. During light sleep, your brain is more open. It can still hear what's happening around you, like soft music, or voices, or gentle background audio. You're not fully awake, but your mind is still listening, almost like it's keeping one ear open to the world. This is the reason why some scientists believe that sleep might actually be a helpful time to expose yourself to a new language. Because your brain, even in rest mode, can still pick up simple words and familiar sounds. It's not the same as active learning. You're not studying, but it's absorbing. Quietly, gently. Pretty amazing, right? I like to think of the brain as a quiet night guard, still doing its job, even while the rest of you is taking a break. So now that we have a little understanding of how the brain behaves during sleep, let's move to the big question. Can you really learn English while you sleep? And here's where I want to be really honest with you. The answer isn't black and white. It's not yes or no. It's somewhere in the middle, and I'll explain why. There are studies, real research, that show your brain continues working with the things you learned earlier in the day. This process is called memory consolidation. That's a fancy way of saying your brain is taking what you studied, say, a few new English words, and transferring them into long-term memory storage, kind of like putting them in a safe place so you don't lose them. But here's something important I want you to remember. You can't learn everything while you're sleeping. You can't just play a full audiobook of English grammar and expect to wake up speaking like a native. Trust me, I wish it worked like that too. But, and this is a hopeful but, there are things your brain can do during sleep that are helpful for language learning. For example, if you listen to vocabulary, simple, repeated phrases, your brain is more likely to remember them, especially if those words are played in a calm, gentle rhythm. Another great benefit? Listening skills. Your brain starts to recognize sound patterns. Even if you're not awake, your ears are still hearing those English sounds, and your brain is saying, "Ah, I've heard this before." Over time, it builds familiarity. You begin to feel more comfortable with English, even without conscious effort. Think of it like listening to a song. The first time you hear it, it feels unfamiliar. But after a few listens, even if you weren't paying full attention, you can hum along. That's how your brain treats repeated English exposure too. It's building comfort, rhythm, memory. Of course, things like grammar structure, sentence building, and speaking, those are active skills. They need your full focus during the day. But using sleep as a support tool? That's where the magic happens. So now you might be wondering, Emily, how do I actually try this? What do I need to get started? Great question. And that's where we're heading next. Let me walk you through a gentle, step-by-step guide to building your own English sleep learning routine. You don't need anything complicated or expensive, just a bit of intention, consistency, and the right content. Step 1. Prepare your material. Start by choosing the audio you want to hear. This is really important. It should be simple, clear English, nothing too fast or complex. Think short vocabulary lists, basic conversations, or even relaxing podcasts spoken in slow English. The idea is to not overload your brain. You want it to recognize words, not feel confused. You can even record yourself. If you're working on new vocabulary, try saying the words aloud, slowly and clearly, then play that back while you sleep. Your own voice can be a powerful tool. You know your pace, your focus, your tone. It's personal, and that matters. Step 2. Set up your environment. Make your space comfortable and quiet. If your room is noisy or bright, your brain might not rest properly, and that ruins the point. You can use soft sleep headphones or a small bedside speaker. Keep the volume low, almost like a whisper. It doesn't need to be loud. Your brain hears more than you think. I personally love using sleep headphones. They're soft, safe for lying down, and they make the experience more relaxing. Step 3. Time it right. The best time to start your audio? Just before you fall asleep. Your brain is already starting to relax, which is perfect for passive listening. Set your audio to play for about 30 to 60 minutes. That's enough time for your brain to start processing what it hears, without overstimulating it through the whole night. Some people even loop the audio quietly through the night, and that's fine too. Just make sure it's calming and doesn't wake you up. Step 4. Stay consistent. This is where most people give up too early. Just like with regular English learning, consistency is everything. If you want to see results, you need to make it a part of your nightly routine. Maybe not every single night, but at least a few nights each week. Over time, those repeated exposures to the language will start to stick. Think of it as planting tiny seeds. You won't see a tree overnight, but give it time, and growth will happen. In the next part, we'll go deeper into what kinds of content work best, what not to expect, and how to stay motivated even when results feel slow. Because sleep learning is powerful, but only when we approach it with the right mindset. So stay with me. Let's keep learning, gently, together. Welcome back, and I'm so glad you're still here with me. We've been exploring how sleep can actually become a quiet, powerful part of your English learning journey. And now it's time to talk about what kind of content works best while you sleep. And just as importantly, what not to expect. Let's start with the good stuff. What kind of English material should you actually be listening to at night? First, vocabulary lists. This one is a classic, and it works well. Listening to vocabulary, especially when it's grouped into themes like food, travel, or daily routines, can be really helpful. Repetition is your brain's best friend during sleep. The more often your brain hears the same words in a soft, slow rhythm, the more likely it is to recognize them later. Even better if you pair the English word with its meaning in your native language. For example, apple, qua tau. This gives your brain a reference point as it processes the word. You don't need a long list. Just 10 to 15 words a night is a great start. 2. Simple conversations. Try finding short English dialogues between two people. Think of friendly chats about everyday topics, ordering food, asking for directions, greeting someone. These help your brain become more familiar with the natural flow of English conversation. Choose something with a clear pace and not too many background sounds. You'll be surprised how much your brain begins to pick up. Intonation, rhythm, even common sentence patterns like, "Can I help you?" or "How much is it?" 3. Positive English affirmations. This might sound surprising, but it's a beautiful practice. Listening to gentle affirmations in English while you sleep can boost not just your language skills, but your confidence too. Imagine falling asleep to soft phrases like, "I am learning English every day." "My English is getting better and better." "I believe in myself and my ability to grow." Affirmations like these help create a positive emotional connection with the language. They tell your subconscious mind, "Yes, I can do this." And that matters more than we often realize. Fourth, relaxing English podcasts. Now, of course, I'm going to recommend podcasts like this one. You want podcasts that speak slowly, clearly, and use everyday vocabulary. Think of it like bedtime storytelling, but in English. There are many wonderful shows out there with calming narration, soft background music, and real English input. Choose episodes that don't demand too much thinking. You're not here to analyze, you're here to absorb. So those are a few types of content you can explore: vocabulary, short dialogues, affirmations, and relaxing podcasts. Each one offers your brain a different way to quietly process the language while you rest. But now, let's gently shift the conversation and talk about expectations, what sleep learning cannot do for you, because this is just as important. 1. You won't become fluent overnight. I know, I wish I could tell you otherwise, but the truth is, fluency doesn't happen while you sleep. That level of language skill takes time, practice, and focused effort during the day. Sleep learning is more like a gentle assistant. It helps you remember, but it won't do all the work for you. So please don't expect to wake up one morning speaking perfect English just because you listen to an audio file. That's not how language works. 2. You won't learn complex grammar. Unfortunately, the deeper grammar concepts, the difference between past perfect and present perfect, or the rules of conditional sentences, those require your conscious brain. You need to sit down, think, compare, and use them actively in writing and speaking. Sleep is not a teacher of grammar, it's a supporter of memory. That's a good distinction to keep in mind. 3. You can't rely on sleep learning alone. This is a big one. Listening to English while you sleep should be a tool, not the whole toolbox. You still need to speak, read, write, and interact with the language when you're awake. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't expect brushing alone to give you perfect health. But it helps. Sleep learning is like that. A gentle, helpful habit. 4. It might not work for everyone, and that's okay. Let's be honest here. Everyone's brain is different. Some people might feel like sleep learning really helps. Others might not notice much at all. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. If you don't see fast results, don't get discouraged. The real value is in the routine, the mindset, and the quiet exposure over time. Keep going and trust that something good is happening, even if it's small and invisible right now. So, just to repeat, no, you won't wake up fluent. No, sleep won't teach you grammar. And no, you shouldn't make it your only method. But yes, it can help you remember, reinforce, and feel more connected to the English language in a relaxed, low-pressure way. Now, let's talk about something else: your nighttime routine. Because the way you prepare for sleep can actually affect your English learning too. Here are a few gentle suggestions. Create a calming bedtime routine. Turn off your bright screens about 30 minutes before bed. Blue light from phones or TVs can keep your brain alert when it should be relaxing. Instead, try reading a page or two of an English book. Or just dim the lights, sip warm tea, and breathe deeply. Then, when you're ready, put on your English audio. Lay down. Close your eyes. Let the words float over you like soft waves. You don't need to listen hard. Just let the sounds become part of your environment. No pressure, no stress. Use the same content for a few nights. This is a simple tip that makes a big difference. Repetition is how your brain builds strong connections. So instead of switching your audio every night, try sticking with the same vocabulary list, podcast, or affirmation for 3 to 5 nights in a row. Each time you hear it, your brain gets more familiar with the sounds and more likely to remember them. Use gentle audio with long pauses. Don't choose audio that's too fast or packed with information. Slow is better. Silence is good. Your brain needs time to process what it hears, especially when it's not fully awake. That's why soft, spaced-out speech is more effective than nonstop talking. And finally, track your progress. Gently. Keep a small notebook or digital note. Write down the vocabulary you've listened to that week. In the morning, reflect. Did I hear that word somewhere today? If you recognize a word from your sleep audio in a video, a message, or a book, that's a victory. Celebrate that. It doesn't matter how small the progress is. Progress is progress. In the next part, I'll wrap up this episode with some final thoughts, encouragement, and gentle reminders to help you keep going, whether you're learning in the daylight or in your dreams. So stay with me. One more chapter to go. Welcome back, friend. We're now at the final part of today's episode, and I just want to say, thank you for staying with me. Whether you're listening in the morning with a cup of tea, or you're tucked into bed with the lights dimmed, your time and attention mean so much. And the fact that you're here shows how deeply you care about your English journey. So before we close, I want to leave you with a few gentle tips. And, of course, a little motivation to keep you going. Because learning English while you sleep isn't just about playing audio. It's about building a mindset that says, I'm always growing, even when I'm resting. Let's go through these together. 1. Be patient with yourself. Language learning is not a race, it's a rhythm. There will be fast days and slow ones. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress. Other days, not so much. And that's completely normal. Sleep learning, like any learning method, takes time. You might not notice any changes at first, but the real growth is happening quietly, just like a seed in the soil. Stay patient and trust the process. You don't need to rush. You're not falling behind. You're exactly where you need to be. 2. Stay consistent. Even if it's just 15 or 20 minutes before bed, make it a nightly habit. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't always see the result, but you know it matters. The more you expose your brain to English, the more familiar it becomes. And the more familiar it becomes, the more confident you'll feel using it during the day. Consistency is the quiet key to mastery. You don't have to be perfect, just present. 3. Combine your nighttime listening with daytime practice. Sleep learning is like watering a plant, but it still needs sunlight. That sunlight is your active practice. Reading a short article, writing a journal entry, having a short conversation, watching a video in English. When you combine both, rest and focus, you create a full circle of learning. So maybe in the morning, you review what you listened to the night before, or take 5 minutes to speak aloud the vocabulary you've been hearing in your sleep. This kind of gentle connection deepens your memory. 4. Celebrate small progress. Maybe you remember one word from your sleep audio. Maybe you suddenly understand a sentence you used to skip over, or maybe you just feel more relaxed when listening to English now. All of that matters. All of it counts. Don't wait until you're fluent to be proud. Be proud now, for every small step, every quiet moment of effort. Your progress is real. 5. Keep your motivation close. Whenever you feel discouraged, come back to your why. Why do you want to learn English? Is it to travel? To connect with people? To grow your career? To enjoy movies, books, and music? Whatever it is, remind yourself. Write it down. Say it out loud. Let that reason guide you when things feel slow. You're not just learning a language, you're creating new connections. You're expanding your world. And that's something worth celebrating. Now, before we finish, let me share one final thought with you. Sometimes the most powerful progress happens when we stop trying so hard, when we allow ourselves to relax, let go of pressure, and simply receive. That's what sleep learning is all about. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. So tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, take a deep breath. Smile, even just a little. And as you drift off, know that your brain is still working for you. Quietly, kindly, gently building your English. One word, one phrase, one soft sound at a time. You're not alone on this journey. I'm right here with you, and we'll keep walking this path together, day by day, dream by dream. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode of English in Ease. If you found this helpful or calming, I'd love for you to subscribe, or even share it with a friend who's also learning English. The more we support each other, the stronger we grow. And as always, if you have questions, thoughts, or just want to say hello, feel free to reach out. I love hearing from you. Until next time, sleep well, learn gently, and keep believing in yourself. You're doing better than you think. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.